Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas, and I'm continuing my rankings of all the Beatles songs. I'm up to 141 through 137. I'm going to cover in this video. Um, so still got quite a bit left on the Beatles, not quite halfway there on all the Beatles songs. Still, these are decent songs I enjoy, but aren't enthusiastic about. 141, I have There's a Place, which comes at a minute 52 seconds. I always like to put down, when it's under 2 minutes, it's always kind of marvel at how short these songs are sometimes. The early Beatles songs are very short, it seems. This came off of the Please Please Me album for the UK. For America, it came off of Introducing the Beatles album originally, till they put everything together in 1987. Of course, you can only find on Please Please Me now. What's funny about this song is both Lennon and McCartney have claimed that they are the ones who wrote the song or came up with the story of the song. So we really don't know which one's true, I guess, especially since John's not alive anymore. But McCartney says he based it off a West Side Story song called There's a Place for Us, which is obviously, if you know that movie, it's a very famous song from that movie. Really good song. John claims that he wrote the song in a Motown style, which obviously there's a lot of songs at this time that they were either covering from Motown or influenced very much by Motown. So they both could be true. Who knows? I can't say which one's absolutely true. There's a place. It's kind of this song about a place that you can go to be to be alone or to think think about something, just to be by yourself. It says that similar to Beach Boys is In My Room. That also came around this time, which is a really good Beach Boys song about there's a place I can go again in my room where I can be on my own. Anyways, that's kind of the basis of the song. But I have it there at 141. There's some good harmonies there, some good early Beatles stuff, in my opinion. 140, I have Ask Me Why, which is one of the really early Beatles or Lennon McCartney written songs that the Beatles did. Of course, the Beatles were a cover band, basically. That then, of course, Lennon and McCartney were getting together and writing, and they were striving to be writers. Very influenced by Buddy Holly and the Crickets, because Buddy Holly wrote his own music, and maybe the Everly Brothers and stuff like that, where they wanted to not just do other people's music, but write their own. This was the B-side to Please Please Me, which was there in 1963, which the second single they put out in the UK, the first single to go number one in the UK. So this is a B-side to that. This was mostly written by John. John says he wrote it and he sung in the style of Smokey Robinson, which we'll see here pretty soon. They're big fans of Smokey Robinson and covered a lot of his music, and obviously we were influenced by him. It was again one of the early songs written in spring of 1962. Came out in 1963 on the B side here. It was the first Lennon McCartney broadcast on radio, actually. A BBC program called Teenagers Turn On. They played this on June 11th, 1962. They also sang in Hamburg in December 1962, and it was put on an album called Live at the All Star Club. So there evidently came a live album, which the Beatles performed on and sang the song. So again, it's one of the early collaborations. I found most interesting that it's one of the first three songs that they took to George Martin. Um, I know that's a mistake. Sorry, George Martin. They brought three songs to him as they wanted a single, and they wanted to write the first single. While George Martin didn't know if they could write a hit single yet. They haven't done it yet. And so he wanted to bring in other writers to write a hit single for the Beatles, or take a song that's already been written. But the Beatles they really stood their ground. They really wanted their own song. Anyways, and of course they're in the very early stages of writing, and they obviously get better and better as time goes by. But they provide three songs to them, being "Love Me Do," "P.S. I Love You," and "Ask Me Why" are the three songs that he provides. And it's interesting, I've read this about George Martin not really liking any of the three songs. I didn't think any of the three of them were really that strong to be a hit single. He went with "Love Me Do" as the first single. He thought that was the best out of the three. "P.S. I Love You" was the B-side to "Love Me Do," the first single. Of course, "Love Me Do" ended up being a hit song, went number 19 in the charts in the UK. So George Martin was, I think, a little bit wrong. I don't think he quite understood how big the Beatles were going to be, obviously, at that point, or how good they were at writing good, catchy pop music. And obviously, "Love Me Do," I think maybe did better than what he even thought. And in "Peace, I Love You," I think, is a really good song also. It's on the B-side there. It's a pretty good A-side, B-side there. And so then when they wanted to do a second single and he really wanted the number one hit, then that's when John, of course, brought "Please Please Me," and the whole story, of course, about they sped it up and they put "Ask Me Why" on the B-side of "Please Please Me," which was a huge hit anyway. So interesting little thing, "Ask Me Why." Again, another solid early Beatles tune with John at the lead vocals there. 139, I have "I'll Cry Instead." Again, another short song, a minute 47 seconds. Comes off the "Hard Day's Night" on the UK album. In America, it first came out on the "Something New" album in 1964. Because the "Hard Day's Night" US album had only the A-side was the songs that were in the movie. Then the B-side was all orchestra music from George Martin. While in UK, they got all 14 songs. 7 that were in the movie or whatever, and 7 that weren't in the movie. So this is one of the songs that weren't in the movie "Hard Day's Night" that they just wrote to complete this album. Though they consider putting in the movie, from what I read, they were going to put it in the spot where they put "Can't Buy Me Love," where the Beatles are, we're out or whatever, I'm free, and they start running around that field. They were going to play this song. They eventually went with "Can't Buy Me Love," which makes more sense since "Can't Buy Me Love" was the number one hit and a little more faster paced song. And I think that song works better for that spot. So probably a good choice there. It's one of the more forgettable songs, I think, off the Hard Day's Night album, which I think is a really, really good album. And I would say excellent songs. Probably good first, or the top 10 of the album, really good. Maybe 4 that are just not as good. I put this maybe towards the bottom of the album. Still, a decent Beatles hit or Beatles song for me, with John again, John's great rock vocals in it. I'm not saying much about the lyrics. He's kind of wants to get revenge on a girl that broke his heart, but he'll probably just cry instead. Anyway, it's kind of the whole point. 138, I have "Golden Slumbers." Again, this song came in at minute 31, so it's one of the shorter songs I've looked at from the Beatles. This came off the Abbey Roads album, written by Paul McCartney. He wrote it from a lullaby that he saw when he was at a piano. I guess there was an old lullaby called "Golden Slumbers," like the same name, and a lot of the lyrics came from this lullaby. So Paul McCartney wasn't such an original song. He really just kind of took it off this old lullaby and added some different lyrics to it, and of course added this beautiful piano to it, and created the "Golden Slumbers," which came, I think, on the B-side, whatever, on Abbey Road. It's part of that big medley. There, I've done a lot of the medley songs. I'm not so big on the medley on the B-side. This is definitely probably my top one of the medleys. I still have it at 138 because it's very beautiful. Love Paul's vocals, love the piano. And there, it's kind of a slow song, but it's beautiful. But it's only minute 31 because I've said about the other medley songs, they feel like incomplete songs. And this one, I think if he added another minute 30 to it, maybe it would be higher on my list. Like it'd feel like more of a complete song. But I feel like the whole side of the album is just a lot of incomplete songs they just threw together. So they're not as big for me. But still, I put this high because of how beautiful it is compared to the other ones. And then 137, my last song on here is "Rocky Raccoon." It came off the White Album, written by Paul McCartney. And this was interesting because the White Album is definitely an album that you can experiment on. It's a double album. They really went all for it. A lot of different genres of music, which I think is interesting. And this one's kind of sung in like a old Western, a country Western song. It tells a story about a guy who his girlfriend leaves him for another guy, and he goes to kill this guy, but he gets shot instead. and then he's getting, you know, a doctor comes and uh, he lives basically at the end, and I don't know, nothing really happens after that. I don't know if he just leaves or if he goes back, but so it's a simple kind of old western story, like you know, like there's a gunfight in it. And so I like that story aspect of it. Very interesting. Very different from anything that the Beatles have ever done, or Paul has done at that time. He kind of talks. Some of it's talking. Some of it he kind of sings. It's a mixture of both. Yeah, I kind of enjoy it. It's not my typical kind of Beatles song where there's great harmonies and a great guitar solo or anything like that. But it's very different, but yet it's still kind of enjoyable. I think mostly because of the lyrics I enjoy and enjoy the storytelling of the song. And he basically wrote this in India, like he wrote a lot of the White Album songs. And it was just it says that he was just sitting there with a acoustic guitar, and he had John and Lennon and Donovan there, and he was just spitballing ideas for the song, and he was just playing on this acoustic guitar and just coming up the lyrics, and they were helping him. So it's been pretty interesting to listen in on that. Um, Anyways, and well, I say Rocky Raccoon. My favorite line I don't know is he talks about his girlfriend. Girlfriend's name is McGill, but everybody calls her name's McGill, but she goes by Lil, but everybody calls her Nancy or something like that. And it's like I don't know. I love that lyric. It's so strange. McGill and Lil, but then everybody calls her Nancy. Anyway, so she has like three names. But there's a lot like that. I think clever lyrics in there that I enjoy. So I put there at 137, Rocky Raccoon. So that's, what was it, 141 through 137 on my Beatles ranking list. Thank you for watching the video and for liking it. And please comment on what you think about these songs and where you'd put them. And just thank you to all subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Have a good day.